Oh.
Sorry, I came as fast as I could.
Oh.
My car broke down on the way to the studio.
I'm so sorry.
And so I had to run all the way over here.
Mm-hmm.
Did I make it on time?
No, you're a week late. You're a week late for sure. Yeah, no, listen, and that's on me for asking you to run all the way from Oklahoma to the labyrinth.
Right.
You made really good time.
Yeah,
for running.
Well, yeah, I go to the gym these days. You know this.
Yeah, you're crushing it.
Yeah, okay. Well, and then I had to stop because there was Gen Con, so I had to stop there
Gen
for a
Con
little
as well.
bit. Mm-hmm. And then I had to keep running a little bit more.
Yeah, I did detour up to Indianapolis.
But I'm here now.
And we're so happy to have you.
Yeah, and I brought the episode with me.
Oh, thank God. That's what I was waiting for. You're the one who had it in your hands.
Yeah.
Physically on your person.
Correct.
Okay, so
As
now
always.
we can... Well, yeah, I don't know how else you're supposed to put it on the internet if you don't hand it to Amelia first.
Yeah, I put it, I'll put it in the cassette player we have that digitizes it. And we can get that ish rolling.
Fantastic. And if they wanted to watch it, of course, they could hop over to our YouTube or our Patreon, where they actually...
If you're on Patreon, actually, does this part go on Patreon?
It might.
Okay. Well.
Still technically a week late, you know?
It's still technically a week late. However, if you listen to it from Patreon, you're getting it 3 days early for a week late. So really, it's like, a wizard, it never arrives late.
Yep.
They're here.
The episodes arrive exactly when they
That's
intended.
how the quote goes.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, if you want to listen to this 3 days earlier when it's early or late, you can go to... We're not going to do that again, though. I think we're good. We're locked in this time.
Should be fine, though.
You go to patreon.com/unpreparedcasters to listen to each episode of this arc the Friday before the public release, which happens on Mondays.
Exactly. But you could also watch it on YouTube, look at our beautiful faces, our beautiful outfits.
Guys, our outfits look so good.
We look really good.
We look really good. Even if you like to listen to the podcast and you're like, I don't want to, I'm driving or something, so I like to listen to my ear. You should just
look.
Flip over to YouTube, see how cute we look, and then flip back to podcast.
Yeah. So you're envisioning it correctly.
Yeah.
Anyway, so sorry for the delay.
Yeah.
Here's the episode.
Ta-da!
Enjoy the show!
Hello! And welcome to Unprepared Casters, Jacob's Ladder. I am your GM.
God,
plural gods, NPCs, narrator, and your on-deck Amelia Psalm. As per always, you can use any pronouns your heart contents to. And would my lovely co-hosts introduce themselves?
Hello, my name is Haley Whip Jack. I will be playing your God Killer this evening. Constance Gable.
Regular
Haunted garden
person.
Regular person / haunted garden witch.
Sure.
Godling, if you will.
Yeah.
So not a god killer at this point, I would say, has killed no gods.
You've killed no gods. You haven't,
Killed no gods.
knowingly interfaced with any gods in a, divine capacity.
Well, I mean, sometimes they show up and you ask them politely to leave.
Yeah, but, not in a weird way.
No.
In the normal way. Even when mortals show up, you probably also politely ask them to leave.
Yeah. This is my house, please.
This is my house, please. My children are here. You have kids? No, I don't know why I said that.
That was a lie. I'm sorry. I love you, Constance. That's me today.
That's you today. Do we just want to go into it?
Oh, geez.
I don't know. What else do we do?
What else to say? What else? Nothing, I don't think.
Okay. Would you like to know?
You tell me a story.
This is so fun to do, one-on-one, because usually it's I'm just talking to a screen. Mm-hmm. I'll make eye contact and everything. Not allowed, though.
Tell me a story, Mills.
Once upon a time. No. This story is going to start in a garden. It is one that you know very well. You have spent how many years tending to it?
Let's call it 9. Probably moved out from my mom's place when I was 19 or 20.
Yeah.
And I've been here ever since.
All right. So we'll say around 9 years. You wandered, found yourself an area of land that no one else seemed interested in. It was overgrown. It was neglected. It had potential. And piece by piece, you began carving out a subsidiary existence here, starting with some gentle crops, flowers occasionally that welcomed the bees and the woodland creatures that bloomed brightly in spring, herbs, spices, trees that just now were probably getting almost the size where they could give you some shade if you paid attention. There were other trees in the land, but Malum, especially at this time, is a place where you basically could just tend to anywhere your heart contented, as long as you respected the land, whatever spirits were there, and whoever inhabited it with you. You were probably very happy to have found a place no one else inhabited.
There's people that live nearby. I can get to other people.
Yeah, in probably a 15-minute walk.
Brisk
15-minute walk if you were walking briskly, and along a trail that was not entirely trod on your own. Probably the first few 1,000 feet or so, you found yourself nestled behind a thicket. There are rumors of a witch who lives deep within the glade.
I don't know where the witch is, but I have heard of this.
You have a witch who is a harbinger of death.
Haven't met one of those in my time here, but I've heard of her.
Yeah. Many people have. Many people take a wide berth around this part of the jungled area.
Well, that's because somebody keeps telling them all about the witch when they go into town. Probably.
Yeah. And the town of Wave Run is not large. It is a few miles away from a coast. It is sleepy, quiet, most everyone tending to themselves, not to the level in which you do. But in a world where gods are sort of treating the mortal plane as their own playground, it's less dangerous, perhaps, than some other areas. And so you've spent 9 years building perhaps the only place you've truly called home, tending to a garden with the cycles of the seasons and the years. You noticed and expected perhaps less rain for this upcoming spring, and you knew your crops were going to suffer just a bit.
Which happens. It happens. You plant more than you need, just in case.
And that suffering is just a part of life.
Inevitable.
And they were struggling until they stopped.
Yeah. And it was like they had never started to wilt.
No. It was even better than before, perhaps better than your garden has ever been. Every single area of soil overgrown with lush, verdant life. Fruiting earlier than they were supposed to. You worry about the soil and the nutrients. You worry about where they manage to get the energy from the sun. And you don't get any satisfying answers. It seems that everything here is excited in a way that is unnatural to you, despite the lack of rain, despite the dearth of anything you might notice could be wrong here. And so you waited out a couple days. You know, gods and spirits are fickle, and perhaps something came by, spirit of nature, that blessed the land in its passing. How long would you say, as someone who probably very rarely goes into town, how long would you keep to yourself about this?
Well, like you said, things get weird sometimes, and you have to account for that. Normally when things get weird, they go weird the other direction. Right, there was a few years back, we lost half the crops because something walked through that just sort of, like, took all the water out of them.
Right.
So it's possible maybe something is coming to just put the water back. I don't know. I give it longer than I should. Much longer than I should. I notice it, I sit with it for a few days, and then I keep putting it off.
You keep putting it off, and not only has your garden never grown so aggressively before, as you go to shape the plants, you know that if you want to encourage growth in leaves, you have to trim the stems so they refruit. As you prune, cutting a stem, going elsewhere, you return to that area of the garden, and it's already started budding anew.
Which is not correct.
No.
And should not be happening.
Your opinion?
It shouldn't be happening. And if it's happening here, maybe it's just happening here, which would be better.
Would it?
No, because that means something is messing with me in particular, and I don't need any more of that. But it's probably not just happening here, because it's been lasting so long, and because nobody's tried to come talk to me. So it's probably happening other places. But that's the first thing I need to figure out. So I need to go figure out if it's happening other places.
Okay.
So I'm gonna have to go to town. Without even bringing anything to justify it.
And so go to town, you do. Now, you're not necessarily 15 minutes from the town center.
No.
You're 15 minutes in a brisk walk, probably toward the next closest person.
My neighbor.
Your neighbor. As you begin to walk the same path, it is more overgrown than usual. The only footsteps, with very few exceptions, that have worn this down have been your own over the course of 9 years, and you almost couldn't tell as vines and weeds and flowers have begun growing across those trees that you planted that were just barely getting tall enough to grant you shade, have grown far enough to start even blocking out the sun. You see other ivies and things trellising across and around them to get closer toward the top of the canopy. Not only is this entirely different from what you were expecting of a struggle, you have never seen life here be so vibrant and beautiful. And that disquiets you in a very fundamental level.
Yeah.
As you head to your nearest neighbor, Dev Rinex. You don't dislike Dev.
Mm-hmm. Dev's fine.
You just don't vibe.
And that's so different for me.
Right?
Than the huge.
Right.
Dev's fine.
Yeah. It takes you longer than usual. Your brisk walk is not as easy in these conditions. But the sun is high and the day is bright and there is bird song around. Everything seems to be buzzing with excitement.
Everything's just perfect.
It's never been perfect like this before.
I'm gonna go to Dev's house.
You go to Dev's house. How would you like to approach? You know, Dev has a pretty small sort of a homestead. Dev primarily tends to animals. You're kind of in this sort of like jungly area, so there are some lands that he has sort of cleared and carved out for grazing. Usually, you know, he doesn't spend a lot of time in his house and is typically out wandering elsewhere.
I'm going to start at the front door, because it's polite to knock. So I'm going to go to Dev's front door and just rap on his door a couple times. See where that gets me.
You do so, and there's no response. Stand there for a little while. It's not a big house, but Dev's a busy guy.
My best bet would probably be to start yelling, and I don't want to do that.
Sure.
I don't want to just start yelling around Dev's property. I am going to look for the shelter that Dev keeps his animals in. Just see if they're around, if maybe he's tending to them there.
Yeah. You sort of have to go around the side of Dev's house and a little bit farther away. This is incredibly difficult. There is a lot more growth than you expected. You can see the area where the animals are, or where you expect the animals to be, is tended down a bit more. You know, there's goats and things that would be eating the grasses, but still bouncing back with life.
Right.
The fence posts that have sort of been just, you know, wider logs just jammed into the earth and crossed, you see it almost looks like they have started rooting and growing on their own where they sit.
The ones that were dead a few weeks ago?
Yeah.
Great.
And you hear some animal noises and some light swearing a little ways off.
Nice. Good. Excellent. That means I don't have to start yelling.
You don't have to start yelling.
I love don't have to start yelling.
Great for you.
I will just go towards that.
Yeah, you go towards that, and you see a very short, kind of middle-aged man who the animal noises that you couldn't quite place seem to be one of these goats in labor.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Okay. Does Dev look like he needs help?
He seems to have a pretty good idea of it.
This is sort of what Dev does.
Dev looks pretty annoyed.
Right. I don't know if I got any moves for help a goat give birth. I'm looking.
Yeah, do you wanna try feeling it out, I guess? The situation? You can. I mean, I'll to sort of paint a picture of the scene.
Yeah.
It's just kind of in a slightly more cleared out area of this field. You notice this is really the only animal that you've seen near Dev for a while. But I don't know. I, Amelia, don't really know all the details of how goats give birth.
It's very similar to cows.
I, Amelia, don't really know all the details about how cows give birth.
With goats, you don't have to get the gloves that go up to your shoulder.
Yeah.
That's kind of the main difference.
Okay. Great.
Less deep.
Yeah, I guess I could have extrapolated that from what I know about the sizes of goats and cows, which is something I am passingly familiar with.
They can usually do it by themselves, but sometimes you have to help.
Yeah, so Dev's mostly just overseeing the situation here and does not have gloves that go up to his shoulder.
Don't need them, not for goats.
Not for goats. Yeah, he doesn't seem to notice you. I would imagine that Constance is just unnervingly quiet no matter what she does.
Constance is doing what Constance does best, which is lurk in doorways.
Yeah.
Uncomfortably.
You have found yourself in the shade of a tree, which you just tend to naturally migrate toward the shadows no matter what. The sun is so bright.
It hurts.
Yeah, no, it's valid. man. And they haven't invented sunglasses yet because it's the olden days.
It's terrible being in the olden days
It
sometimes.
sucks.
What if you had astigmatism?
I think about that a lot. As someone with astigmatism, I'd just be like, well, I guess I can't see.
I guess I just can't see and the lights are weird.
Yeah.
I don't know.
We can't get off on that because I just think the thing is like, I don't have astigmatism. All the cars are angels and only I can see the halos and the headlights.
I knew you'd like that one.
I love it. But anyways, you don't see halos or headlights. You see a goat giving birth
And Dev.
Handling it.
I'm gonna do what I think is the polite thing to do, which is crazy.
Yeah.
Which is to just stand there in the doorway until he's done.
Yeah.
Quietly, so as not to disturb him. I will just stand and wait. Because I do want to talk to Dev, but I don't want Dev to be mad at me. I want to have I want to do good at the conversation.
Yeah.
So that I get the answers that I need.
Right.
Because if Dev gets mad, he might not tell me things.
I guess so. I guess, yeah, if Dev got mad at you, he would not tell you things.
Right.
Okay.
And I don't want to go talk to somebody else.
Right.
So I'm going to stand here quietly.
You're going to stand there quietly so Dev doesn't get mad at you for being near him and talking to him.
Correct.
Okay. As he delivers a goat.
I don't want to interrupt his task.
Yeah, no, that's fair. You're so polite.
Mid-task.
He's mid-task and he delivers a goat for however long it takes goats to give birth.
If I was mid-task and Dev walked up to me, I'd be upset.
You would be very upset.
I probably wouldn't yell at him.
No, but I imagine Constance is not good at like hiding her displeasure ever and just looks as like, what?
Not a yeller, though.
Yeah, no, it's just
Not a
a
yeller.
what?
Yeah. Yeah, it's all in the energy.
Yeah. Do you happen to know how long it takes goats to give birth?
I don't,
Do
unfortunately.
you know how long it takes cows to give birth? Because
Too long.
So I guess they're smaller, so slightly less than too long.
Yeah, actually, that's the thing I don't know about goats, and I'm really sorry about that.
You know, after this, I am going to look up a bunch of stuff about goats and cows because now I have to know, and I didn't think of this beforehand. I'm sorry we're not providing the, educational experience of this podcast.
I think goats is probably at least a little like giraffes because they both got the hooves. They're both ungulates.
How long does it take giraffes to give birth?
Not long at all. They fall right out of there. They hit the ground. You ever seen a giraffe give birth? It's crazy.
I've not seen a giraffe give birth. I'm not.
It's crazy. They just fall out of there. And then the mom is like, oh shit, what was that? So maybe all ungulates give birth like that.
Yeah, and
Wait, is cows an ungulate? Fuck. Cows got hooves. Shit, I don't know. Maybe I was thinking about horses. Also got hooves. Unclear. My bad.
So the goats in Malum,
There you go.
they're fantasy goats.
Tell me about fantasy goat birth.
I'm not going to.
Wow.
It takes several minutes.
Great.
It's 15, 20 minutes by the time you get there. I don't know.
Yeah.
That seems normal. It's like a whole process. It's not like, you know.
They don't do epidurals for fantasy goats.
Not at this time period. They haven't been invented yet.
They don't do them for I was going to say human goats. Not it. Our time goats.
Yeah.
I don't always get to put you on your back foot. This is fun.
Don't.
Let's do this more often.
Yeah, just bring up animal like labor, apparently.
You gotta watch a giraffe give birth sometime. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, I guess so. I don't know zoos. After this, you see he's mostly checking over the newborn kid.
Right.
Hasn't seemed to have noticed you now, but since the animal's no longer presently giving birth, everything seems like it's calmed down a bit.
Right. Has he started a new task?
Yeah, I think he's probably just getting up and is about to go like head out the other door of this area.
He's gonna leave?
Yeah.
Fuck.
He doesn't know you're there.
No, I know he doesn't know. That was the whole point.
Yeah.
Okay. He's finished his task. The goat seems fine.
Yeah.
Baby goat's good.
Yeah, the baby goat is really good.
Nice.
Actually,
Okay.
yeah.
That's good. We like when babies are born healthy.
Sure.
That's a thing I enjoy.
It's a good thing.
I guess he starts walking the other direction, and I will just start briskly walking with him so I can end up next to him.
Yeah.
And he will just notice me coming. I
Yeah.
really don't want to yell at him.
You walk next to him and you walk for a few steps and he turns his head over and goes, "Gah!"
This is the right way to do it.
How long have you been there?
You did a good job with the goat.
How long have you just been watching?
I didn't want to interrupt the goat. Or you.
So you just stood there? Gave me a heart attack?
I didn't want to shout. That wouldn't have been better.
I don't think it would have been worse.
For your heart? If I shouted while you were mid, doesn't matter.
Do you need something?
Have any of your animals died in the past few weeks?
No. I've been doing better than ever, actually.
Have any of your plants died in the past few weeks?
No. Got more plants than I expected.
Me too.
More plants than I used to have. It's
Me
good
too.
for business.
Are you just worried about business?
Oh, I mean, no.
It's too many plants.
Do you need fewer plants?
Don't need fewer. It's too many plants. Are you not worried?
About the plants?
Or the animals?
No, the animals are doing great.
Animals die less often, I guess. Plants is the better thing to say. Your fence post is alive.
Yeah, I noticed that.
That's wrong.
Yeah?
And that's fine?
I mean, what else am I supposed to do about it?
Something?
Like, weird shit happens all the time.
Has anyone passed through to make weird shit happen?
No?
It's been weeks, Bev.
I don't really know what... I mean, yeah. Maybe that's just how things are now.
Nothing's died in weeks.
No. I mean, maybe this is just how things are now. I don't know exactly what you really expect me to do about it.
I didn't expect you to solve it. I wanted to know if it was happening to you as well.
Oh, yeah, it's happening everywhere.
What's everywhere?
Everyone in town's been talking about it. People passing through town have been talking about it.
It's not just town.
No. Everywhere I've heard
Just
of.
town.
Might not be everywhere, but, that have something to do with you. You know, weird things happen around you, allegedly.
Allegedly. I didn't do anything. Dev, I didn't do anything.
I know you don't do anything, but sometimes you
Dev,
don't.
I didn't do anything.
I know you don't do anything. It's just sometimes things happen around you. This is different than most, but...
Do you pray, Dev?
sometimes.
Who do you pray to?
I pray to the spirits of the forest.
You prayed recently?
Yes,
Did they say anything?
they never do.
Never?
No, we don't. It's not a direct sort of word communication,
No, okay.
but I've seen the flowers, the orange lilies around the trees. When I do my prayers, they bloom a little brighter. Can't see the trunk anymore. There's so many of them.
It's not right.
Maybe.
It's very pretty.
It is.
It's very pretty, but it's not right. I pray. I pray a lot. To, all that gives life. But,
Do they respond?
no, they're too much for that.
Probably very busy. Given life.
Yeah, probably.
Especially now.
You think something happened to them?
No idea. I try to stay out of godly business.
That's a good idea. You should stay out of godly business.
I've never seen you so wound up about something. You? It's really affecting you.
Things are wrong.
Right.
Things that have never been wrong are wrong.
I assume that happens a lot of times when things go wrong.
Not like this.
That you know of. I'm older than you, so not been around that long.
I don't think you know what you're talking about.
Never pretended I did. I'm just saying. This is above us mortals. You go peeking around corners, you'll never know what you find.
I'm not peeking around corners. I am looking at an open field. You tried to kill him. Has anyone?
Yes. You know, so follow me. And takes you out the same way that he was planning to go. And kind of leads you around. You've been in this area before. This is not your first time talking to Dev. And you have a pretty good memory. The growth here in the plant life has turned what used to be a fairly organized, cleared out area into almost labyrinthine connections between other plotted areas. You can tell that Dev has probably been maintaining specific parts, but just cannot keep up with everything.
Yeah.
And as you sort of turn, you see these goats, and there are quite a few of them. No more so than usual, you would say. It's only been a few weeks that this has been going on. And as I know very well, the gestation period of goats is 12 to 15 months. So they can't possibly have grown in that time. I'm now an expert. But he kind of gestures toward like a few of them and says, well, you know, typically we butcher one every now and then. We sell them off, but they haven't really been butcherable.
I know you know how to do your job, but I do have to ask, are you sure you did it correctly?
There's only so many ways you can stab something. They don't die.
Are you still not concerned?
I don't really know what you expect me to do.
Worry?
Worrying without action doesn't really get you anywhere, and I'm not the only one affected by this. I can't exactly just pick up and leave. Not about to start making deals with whatever entity is going to promise me an answer. We're just trying to adjust to this new normal. And be careful about how we tread.
What happens when it continues? You just have hundreds of unbutcherable goats?
It would seem so. And I would recommend, before you get too curious, some of them, now that we know what's going on, have a bit more pleasant experience than others. But they seem to be able to sort of mend pretty quickly, depending on the type of the wound.
Right. I don't need to see.
I'd recommend not.
I've seen a lot of things hurt. I don't need more. People in town, are they handling it?
In whatever way they can. It's not just the goats. It's everything, so some people have gotten a bit more bravado than they used to have. Others, it's business as usual. And everyone else is somewhere in between.
Sure. I don't think I should go into town.
You don't tend to do very well in town.
No, and if people are more reckless and others are more superstitious, I will stay. This is as far in as I will go. Until this stops.
All right.
Thank you, Dev. I did not think that you would be able to fix it, and you can't, but you did give me information.
Well, I'm happy to have helped you out. I mean, if you need anything at all, you know where to find me.
Good luck with the goats. Don't turn around and leave.
Be careful, whatever you do. There are worse things than dying.
I'm very careful. Thank you.
You're welcome. And you head back.
Go back home.
You go back home. And are you going to wait it out?
No.
But you said you were going to wait it out.
I know. I said I wasn't going to go into town any further till it was over.
Okay.
And that's still true.
Okay, so you head back home. You walk the same path you came. Everything still so bright. The air feels more oxygenated, despite how uncomfortable you have decided to, or perhaps are naturally feeling in this presence. There is a part of you that does sort of just want to relax into it.
Mm-hmm. It's beautiful.
It's beautiful, and it feels amazing, and everything, the birds are chirping, and the whole world is so much more alive than it's ever been.
And it sets my teeth on edge. I feel like I'm going to explode.
Yeah.
My hackles are up. My hair is raised. I have goosebumps. And based on what Dev said, I'm the only one freaking out.
Yeah. I mean, some people probably aren't taking it super well, but they're like, well, I don't know.
Other people are turning into little daredevils in the middle of town.
Yeah.
Throwing themselves off buildings or something.
Maybe you've extrapolated a lot,
I
but
have.
It's probably, you're probably certain you're correct.
I know what teenagers are like.
Yeah.
I've met them before. Constance has very little faith in
Teenagers?
humanity.
Oh, okay.
Teenagers especially, probably.
Yeah.
I go home
You do.
and I take a couple clippings of little plants. I take a clipping of rosemary, some basil, just some little things, some mint, little fragrant things, and I put them in little tiny pots. And I just sort of lay them out in a line, and I look at all of them in turn. I say, "You're the control group. Please be under control." And then I go back out into the garden and I pray.
Okay, what does prayer look like here?
I think for Constance, because the act of gardening and tending to this cycle always feels a little bit like worship. That's her first instinct. However, that doesn't seem to be what is appropriate now when what I'm looking for is answers. Right? Because that's never been something that's gotten me answers
No.
in the past.
And it's not something you've ever wanted answers from.
No.
The whole point of it is like the meditative process
Right.
of engaging with the earth and the natural cycle.
Yeah, being a part of the inevitability
Of
of
death,
the universe.
It's great.
It's beautiful. And that's beautiful, and it feels like being a part of the universe. That's not asking a question and hoping for something. So I think I go out into the garden because that's just where that feeling always is, but then very quickly sort of realize that normal process is actually not what I'm going for.
Right.
And I just end up kind of standing there for a minute, just looking around. Okay. I can't make a sacrifice because nothing will die. So, I guess I just ask. And I will just sit on the ground. And I'll just sort of gesture about. I don't like doing this, and I don't know who's listening, but I'm looking for answers about something that is broken, and I like to think I'm a person who could help fix it if I knew what was wrong. Please sit down on the ground and just sort of gesture out to the universe at large.
Yeah.
I don't like doing this, and I don't mean to bother you, and I don't know who's listening. But I need answers about something that is broken very badly, and I feel like I'm maybe a person who can help fix it if only I knew what was going on. So if there is anyone listening who knows what I can do, I would be very interested to hear it. Please.
You send that out into the universe.
Just talking to myself in my garden.
You're just talking to yourself in your garden. You've never tried to pray like this before. I don't think it's ever even occurred to you to really pray to a god for help.
No. My mother told me many times to stay away from gods.
Yeah.
And even when she didn't, that is the energy that I got.
Yeah, because you're just kind of staying away from everyone.
Well, yeah.
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 I feel like you're I'd rather die than ask for help kind of person.
Yes.
Yeah.
I can do it all by myself.
Yeah.
Except this, I guess.
And you sort of have that within yourself. And there's no immediate grand response. The skies do not part. Words aren't spoken from the air. Nothing around you is growing more or less than usual. You're not sure which would be a more welcome sign. And you're left there with your thoughts, feeling perhaps a little bit silly.
Quite. Quite silly.
Quite silly. Do you sit there?
I get up.
You get up?
This was dumb. This was a dumb idea. This is bad, and I didn't need to ask anybody for help, and I'm sorry, and I don't know what to do.
Do you go back inside?
No. Not right away, at least. I throw myself into task, and I start taking stock of where everything is at right now, like crops wise.
Yeah.
Just because I think for the past few weeks, I've been kind of subconsciously trying not to notice.
Yeah.
You know?
That's worked out really well for you.
It has. Yeah. Really, really good. But just the sort of like, well, maybe it did look like that yesterday.
Yeah.
Maybe that's just how it's been. But so I think I'm very like mindfully trying to.
You are going around this garden. You have some parchment. You're making notes and writings where you can. You are tying threads and notching things wherever possible to be able to track the passage and the growth.
Because if I know the rate that it's happening at, then maybe that could tell me something. Maybe it has something to do with like the cycles of the moon or the universe.
Yeah.
Something.
Do you want to sort of like speed past part of this? Because how long, I mean, if you're trying...
It's going to take a long time.
It's going to take a long time.
Yeah.
So we're going to fast forward in time quite a bit.
Fine.
I do have a point of order question. You took 4 plants as a control. You said I don't know if you specifically...
I think I said 3. I think it was rosemary, basil, and mint.
Which one of those would you say is Constance's favorite?
Favorite?
Mm-hmm.
Rosemary. Basil and mint get a little overpowering sometimes.
Yeah. And mint grows like a weed.
Yeah.
And basil, while it can be persnickety, does tend to thrive if you treat it well. Rosemary is incredibly hardy and perennial.
Never had an issue with it.
Never had an issue. It is reliable.
Yes.
It is predictable. Traits which you very much admire, as much as you would admire a plant.
I don't think I was naturally good with plants. I think it took a lot of study and care.
Yeah.
So to have one that pretty early on, I could just be like, and this one I've got.
Yeah.
This one is not gonna die on me.
Yeah, it was probably one of the first ones that you kept alive when you were fairly young and in an environment that was not conducive to much of anything good.
I did keep rosemary alive.
You did keep rosemary alive. And so as you've been tracking for several days, maybe even weeks if you want to go that long.
However long, I'm just tracking it and I'm going to do science.
So after a few days, you have been able to very specifically note this is abnormal. You knew it was abnormal. You now have data to support it. After a few weeks, you notice the rate at which this is changing and sort of evolving is increasing. There are more mutations within plants that would maybe die a little bit earlier on, or typically when you have a lot of plants planted closely together, they choke each other out and you get rid of the weak ones and you let the strong ones flourish. Everything is kind of flourishing and consistently competing with itself for space. The basil and mint that you have in these tiny little control pods have begun to flourish and overgrow. Their roots now going out of the pot, growing, trying to move through the wood of the table, which has in turn entwined itself with them.
Yeah, like at some point I try to move them just into dark little corner. Like I remove them from sunshine. Yeah. I don't water them. You're
trying to keep them from doing this.
The good and bad thing about this is that once you take a cutting of the plant and give it an area to be in, it seems to grow.
Right.
So it's very good for moving things around. You do realize you can cut some pieces of, like, every sliver of a leaf, like you take one and you eat it. You don't have a plant growing out of you.
Good to know.
You don't have a plant growing out of you.
Love.
And the one anomaly is that rosemary, which has always been your favorite, seems to be struggling a little bit.
Shit, I'll put them in the sunshine, Jesus.
Yeah, you put them in the sunshine and it's better. It's not what everything else is. It's pretty average. It is struggling a little bit for the amount of sun that you've been getting. I mean, have you been actively watering it, or have you been letting it just sort of to the elements? Yeah, no, you're not watering it. It is struggling because it is drying out.
Right. Insane. I will return to tending to my rosemary.
Yeah.
This is my new best friend. This rosemary is my best friend.
Yeah.
But nothing changes other than that. Other than that, not a single thing changes. And that's so frustrating because I think I'm just waiting for so long. I'm waiting for it to stop, or I'm waiting for sounds of like riots in the town. I'm waiting for someone to get an idea in their head that this was my fault and to come like burn my house down.
Yeah.
Like I'm waiting for something tangible, something big, and it's just broken.
Yeah. How much of your time would you say you've devoted to trying to figure this out?
Almost all of it.
Almost all of it?
I'm a very focused sort of person.
Yeah. How would it be fair to say you've been kind of neglecting the upkeep of your house?
Yeah.
Yeah. Not only have you been neglecting the upkeep of your house, but there are also everything growing everywhere, and you've kind of set a bunch of tiny little saplings all around for your experiments, like you're a first grader learning about lima beans. Which are
putting them in the Ziploc bags.
Yeah. It's like, okay, the one in the closet and the one in the thing. And we're going to play heavy metal music here.
Mozart to this one.
Yeah. So your house is becoming cluttered and literally overgrown as you have been obsessing with a way to find an answer using everything you possibly know. In this moment, as you've been working, you've been finding dead end after dead end, your house has fallen into disarray. Your garden, despite your best efforts, has
also
fallen in disarray and the most beautiful overgrowth.
It's gorgeous.
It is stunning. What does Constance do when she becomes overwhelmed?
When Constance becomes overwhelmed, it's something she's done since she was a kid. It was to find a place out in the open to just... Her house was cluttered growing up.
Mm-hmm.
A lot. And it always felt like there was too much happening. Both like magically and just with other people. So just to find somewhere that felt breathable and to just literally like sit down and just feel open space around her and just exist in that, which is difficult to do because everything is so full of trees.
Everything is so full of trees because everywhere where there is soil is life.
Is trees.
Is trees, yeah.
My whole house is trees
Your
now.
whole house is trees now. You go outside, boom,
It's all
more trees.
Like at some point, I'm just probably gonna end up on the roof just so I can see the sky.
Yeah. You know that the town is a few miles from the ocean.
Mm-hmm.
If you wanted to, you could go to the sand, which...
There wouldn't be trees.
Yeah. Not much of anything can grow in sand. Not like this.
God's willing.
Yeah, it might be weird now.
It might be weird now. I don't know if I can handle seeing trees in the sand. I could go to the beach.
Yeah.
I could go to the beach. I don't want to get in the water, but I could go to the beach.
You go to the beach. You head to the beach, and the way there is incredibly frustrating.
Yeah.
It's like a goddamn Lisa Frank book.
It's making it worse.
There's everything everywhere. There's bright
Close my
colors.
eyes.
It is so much. And you go out to a quiet area that you know is pretty secluded and difficult to get to, even more so now.
Sure.
Which means there's less likely to be some teenagers doing God knows what in the past few months.
Jumping off of buildings, I
They
assume.
might have gotten bored of that by now. And also, there aren't very many tall buildings.
Jumping off of the trees.
Yeah. You can only jump off trees so many times before you're like, okay, well, there's no threat of death. This is less interesting.
I guess we're invincible. Okay.
Yeah, okay, whatever.
Got algebra to do.
Yeah. It's amazing all of the fun, like, socio-political stuff, that ramifications that we won't explore because
No.
Constance has no desire to see what's going on with
do
anyone
not
else.
Care. You can all think about it. I don't care.
Yeah. As you go to the sand, a feeling of calm washes over you. As everywhere where there is life, things continue to grow. Many of the things in the sand, at least now, if there are crabs or sand dollars or anything there, they are underneath it. You can probably assume that whatever is going on by land is going on in the sea. It's under the waves. And for a moment, you can at least pretend things are normal as you look out into the northern sea. And it looks like you remember it.
I should do this more. I should do this more often. And I calm down.
And you calm down.
It takes a while, but I calm down.
There's no clock rushing you. You can sit and breathe as long as you like.
Probably wait until it's dark.
You can sit. The longer you wait, the more you notice a few things. Perhaps a little bit more algae than supposed to be there.
Yep. It could only last so long.
But then it gets dark.
And then I can't see shit.
Yeah, and then you can't see shit.
Problem solved.
Yeah.
Ocean still sounds like the ocean.
Still sounds like the ocean. And if you get far away enough from the tree line, the chittering of more insects than you have ever heard in your life.
God, cicada season's gonna be wild.
Cicada season's gonna be wild because none of the bugs have been dying either.
No!
It is uproarious.
Yeah, society's collapsing. I'm just not there to see.
Yeah. It was like fun at first.
Yeah.
But it's quiet. The ocean is... Nothing within the ocean makes noise. You hear the song of a whale off in the distance. It's a big, big place. And you make the trek back home. It takes longer in the dark. The way is less familiar.
Which sucks. Because I finally felt like I understood the area. Yeah. And it felt like my place.
And you go back. And you go back to a home exhausted. You open the door and you walk through a house that looks the way it used to. There are no roots growing into whatever wooden fixtures you have there. I assume parts of the floor are just the earth.
Yeah.
Whatever has been there has been cleaned away. In fact, your dishes, I assume Constance seems like a tea drinker.
Yeah, that tracks.
Whatever dishes, you haven't really needed to eat as much.
I just don't.
Yeah.
I try to remember because it used to make people upset when I didn't for long periods of time. But I don't have to eat most of the time.
And unbeknownst to Constance is that no one really has to these days.
Shit.
You don't have to. It's not pleasant to ignore it for a long time. And people have likely started noting that we've gone into the less fun portions of this.
Yeah.
But not only is the growth within your house cleaned, the house itself is cleaned. Your dishes are done and neatly put away. Any dust is removed. Your linens have been washed, beaten in the sun, and refolded. Even though it's only been a few hours.
Yeah.
And there's not dryers. They've air dried at that time.
Yeah. There were trees in here.
The floor has been swept. And there is a pot of water over the hearth of your fireplace.
This is familiar.
From a long ways back.
Yeah. It's never happened in this house.
Never once.
Worrying. Okay. I hate shouting at people.
You don't have to shout.
I know. It's not a big place either, but I just don't see
No.
what I'm looking for. I will just go over to the fireplace, make sure that it seems to be burning well, It does. It seems like there's definitely somebody here.
Mm-hmm.
I'll just lean against the wall. I feel so defeated. I was feeling better. And now things are changed. There's more things happening all the time.
Yeah.
I spent 9 years kind of without things happening.
Yeah.
And it ruled.
Yeah. And all of a sudden, everything is happening.
Things abound.
There's things everywhere these days. Don't get me started on all the things. I walk outside, there's more things
Occurring.
happening even.
house.
It's more likely than you think.
It's so much more likely than you think. I will just lean against the wall. Yeah?
In the garden.
Okay.
Would you like me to come inside or would you like to come out here?
I'll come to you. There's a part of me desperately hopeful that somehow whatever they did in here has fixed outside. And I know it's stupid. I know it is.
Yeah.
But I have to check. I have to know if they fixed the garden.
You head outside. I hate to do this to you. The garden is not fixed.
Yeah.
There is a small area on your porch, which you gave up on pretty quickly as weeds have grown over.
Yeah.
Basically, like, you would cut them back, and then, like, the next day, it's just not worth it.
No, not at all.
But it is clean, at least for you to step out that far. And you see Pia, exactly how you remember them, standing tall, heavier set woman with tanned skin and deep red long curls tied back into a ponytail. And she looks out, standing prim and proper. You've never seen a single hair out of place on this woman.
She looks the same.
Exactly the same.
It's weird for people, but it is comforting.
Yeah, it is.
Oh, things that should change aren't, and things that shouldn't change are.
Is that what you say, or is that what you're thinking?
This is what I'm thinking. I'm always very polite to Pia. I'm not going to say that to her.
Yeah.
I will instead just go outside where I said I would go.
And she's standing at the edge of this porch, looking out onto your garden, has a mug in her hand. The night air is cool. It's still humid where you are, but you would know that the warmth of a cup of tea makes everything feel a bit more normal.
I've not been taking the time to do it lately.
She can tell. She brings it to her mouth and takes a sip.
I never told you where I lived.
You did not? She still doesn't know.
But you're here.
You let things get messy. It's not like you. Thought you could use a hand.
I've been distracted.
Can tell.
Too.
It's all right. Everyone gets distracted.
Why are you here?
You had a mess. It's not like you. Thought I would check in.
You should not have known that.
She smiles. And yet I did.
I live in the middle of nowhere.
You do?
Don't talk to me.
You don't.
Nobody knows I live.
Correct.
Dev knows I live. Do you know Dev?
Yeah. Seems friendly enough.
He's fine.
Keeps a good house.
Well, lot of goats.
A lot of goats.
You been in Dev's house?
No.
Okay. Pia, things are very broken.
Incredibly so.
Thank you for saying that. You can't fix it, I don't think.
It is too large of a mess, even for me.
There's a question in Constance's head she's not gonna ask. Because she's been asked it before, and it's mean.
What question is it?
What are you?
Yeah.
She used to get that one a lot, and it's not a fun question.
Yeah. She could probably feel you not asking.
Yeah. We've said no poker face, no masking of emotions. It's just tense. Constance is a bunch of tense lines right now.
You are very tense, and as always, Pia has witnessed you grow since you were a very young kid. And despite your general aversion to other humans, your general discomfort, Pia has never been anything but welcoming and kind, even in her silence. And it is another point of familiarity that you are glad has not changed.
Would it be imprudent to try and recognize if perhaps Pia is a god and has been this whole time?
Say go for it.
Would like to recognize the signs or influence.
I never thought about the numbers. What'd you roll?
A 10.
A 10. So, on an
win.
Overkill, you realize
fuck.
your divinity is now actively trespassing against them.
I don't know I have that. I'm grading against Pia and I don't even know why.
Yeah.
And wait, we get to add shit. Just for funsies. I'm using the move Recognize a God. There are 3 statements. If any of them are true, I get to add 1 to my roll for each true statement.
Yeah. You're in or near their domain.
You tell me.
In a way, now, yes. You're familiar with their gospel. Not necessarily, not actively so.
No.
And not in a way where, like, that would help you. Like, you don't know of anyone anything like that. It'd be bad if you didn't know. I'm sure if we asked Constance would be like, I don't know something, this is the worst. It's fine.
Yeah, it's not gonna hurt me either way.
So technically that's an 11.
Yes.
If you rolled a 10.
Yes.
But it doesn't matter because anything over 10 is an overkill. You realize your divinity is actively trespassing against them.
Yeah, God Killer punishes you for rolling too well.
Yeah.
God Killer says, how dare you?
Yeah. Feels good now, doesn't it?
Hey, listen, my first roll was a 10.
Your first roll was a 10. Great.
I don't want to.
I'm gonna brag. If you didn't listen to the first one, which you, again, don't have to, but like I would only ever fail the super important things. And then anytime I was like, I want to do something just a little bit, it was like overkill.
Yeah. I would like to use my magic powers. You're gonna kill somebody.
You're gonna use your magic powers.
You're gonna use your magic powers so hard.
Okay. To sort of flavor this, what does Constance do or think, or what changes in her as she's trying to sort of like go back through and figure out, is Pia one of the many weird things about gods in my life?
Yeah.
Or do you say something aloud?
I don't say things aloud.
Yeah, no, that's fair. I wanted to give you the option in case you want to make it easy.
Yeah. And why would I?
No, why would you?
No, I think I am just going back through memories. And you said it earlier, I think Constance has a very good memory.
Oh, yeah. Like a steel trap.
Like Mach.
Mach, indeed.
I think I'm just going back through like childhood memories. I'm trying to remember Pia ever using our door. I'm trying to remember if anyone ever had to let them inside or if I ever remember them arriving, or if I only remember her being there. I'm trying to use like dream logic on it almost.
Yeah.
That like, how did I get here?
Here's what you remember as you're thinking through.
Yeah.
You've seen Pia standing in open doorways. Not necessarily your front door, maybe sometimes. You never remember them greeting you outside of your house. You never remember them formally entering the house. They were always there in some way, and you never found it odd.
Because it's Pia.
Because it's Pia.
She just comes inside.
Yeah, honestly, sometimes you've come home and she's been there, and it's been fine.
She's let me into my house.
Yeah, numerous times. Yeah, you've also know that usually in your mind, when you recall things, you think about how Pia used to come and help you and your mom out by tidying things around. Yeah. You never actually seen her do more than like very conspicuous tasks. And I'm talking like wiping a plate down with a rag, or like just kind of holding a broom. Like I'm talking, you come home, you see Pia sort of just standing there with like a feather duster, and your house is clean every single time.
I just never had to think about it.
You never had to think about it, but you're thinking about it now.
About it now.
You're not great at hiding anything about you. So while you're thinking about this in your brain, it takes you not like several minutes or anything, but you're trying to recall.
Yeah, I want to make sure I'm right.
Staring directly at Pia, not really making eye contact, just kind of looking at her general visage.
Yeah.
And she is staring back into you. And once you sort of make that connection, that there's something about her that has been slightly off the entire time, you know it. You come to in yourself and you realize that you've been looking at her and she is looking at you with an expression you have never seen on her face before. It is maybe an expression that you've never been on the receiving end of. You've had people look at you in wonderment and look at you in fear as they try to figure out exactly what you are. And you feel her look into your eyes with certainty, as if she knows that you now know something that you're not supposed to know. And she stares at you and says, her demeanor shifting, not hostile, but neutral, which for someone who has never been anything but open to you feels hostile.
Right.
Especially to someone who takes most things as threats. And she says, what are you doing right now?
Remembering?
What are you remembering?
You, mostly. How did you meet my mom?
She kind of shifts a little bit, her weight leaning back. I met your mom when she was fairly young. She needed a hand. I lent her one.
And now you're lending me that same hand?
Yes. You need help? I'm happy to help you. I always have been.
I don't think you know how to clean.
She looks offended. Excuse me?
I've never seen you do it.
So?
I don't think you know how.
I do.
Never seen you sweep.
I've never seen you sweep. Certainly didn't sweep before I came.
I was trying to fix studying.
What were you studying? This?
The plants.
How far have you gotten?
I know the rate that they're growing. I know that they'll grow no matter what you do to them. Cuttings will grow. Dead things will grow. Anything except rosemary.
That is very interesting.
I thought so. Do you know how to clean?
Yes.
Show me.
What do you want me to clean?
Anything.
All right. And she kind of looks around. So the thing about this whole situation, your whole house is already spotless.
Yeah, she already cleaned it.
Yeah. So she walks inside, grabs a broom, and dusts off the pathway. And you see, as she touches the broom toward the stone, all of the dirt moves. Like dropping, I don't know if you've ever put pepper in water and then dropped a thing of dish soap into it where it
No.
yeah, it's like a fun thing with like surface tension
It's
and
like
stuff.
yeah.
But it just touch. I mean, I can sweep it back and forth if you'd like, but I don't have to.
That doesn't happen when you do that.
I would imagine not. Not very good at cleaning.
You're not supposed to be that good at cleaning. But you are. Okay. The whole time?
The whole time you've known me.
You never said.
Didn't seem relevant. You've never noticed.
I didn't think about it.
I can't help you more than this. I shouldn't have been helping you with this, but I have a soft spot for your mother and you. There are many things at work here that you do not understand, things you do not know and do not understand, and things that I cannot help you with. And I worry that my presence has perhaps alerted you to more than you should know.
I can't help if I don't know things.
I don't know how much help you'll be with what you know.
Then I should know more. What do you know?
What I know is not mine to tell.
I'm not going to ask other people. I'm asking you.
I do not know what is causing this. I have a hunch, or a couple. The people who are doing this, creating this untended mess. Whatever is behind it is more than I can handle, and I certainly do not want to push my luck, as I have been already doing so, in knowing you, even in the limited capacity in which I have. It's not forces, it's not magic or spirit, it's politics, darling. What is happening here is happening everywhere.
That was my concern.
I do not have answers, and I certainly cannot tell you what I do know. I cannot tell you to travel to the south, look for Viv. I cannot tell you that they might have answers that I don't. I cannot tell you goodbye, darling Constance.
Probably shouldn't risk it then. Is she doing okay? Is she better?
She is who she is.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm going to do something that I don't think you'll care for. And she leans down toward you and gives you a hug.
Oh. I will allow it. Because I like I'll even hug back.
I do sincerely hope. And at saying this, she tucks a very long lock of hair behind your ear. Kind of turns your cheek up to hers. I do sincerely hope you get to make it out of this okay.
That tells me a lot more about the situation than you might have meant to share. And I appreciate that. I'll be okay. I'm gonna fix it. I'm gonna fix it.
I know. And she smiles sadly. Leans back, standing up straight as ever. And begins walking back toward the inside of your house.
Just letting herself in.
She says, Rosemary needs a bit more water.
I thought maybe it was reverting to whatever's happening to the rest of them, but yeah, no, it's wilting again. I'll fix it.
She just walks back inside.
Good talk.
You head back in?
Yeah.
She's gone.
Yeah. I'll just start pacing around my house. Looking at my rosemary. I will water the rosemary.
Yeah, you should.
I will. I gotta fix whatever's happening here with the rosemary.
One of the, rosemary is always a very soft green, and it has a couple leaves that have fallen off of it. It's a little bit withered, a little bit brown. Normally would make you sad.
But it kind of rules.
Kind of rules. And what do you do now?
Pack. I have not gone anywhere since I moved. I've been here. But I'm gonna go around. I'm gonna get my traveling cloak.
Yeah, it's dusty.
Yeah.
Moths have eaten part of it.
That's okay.
You sit, you mend.
Gotta fix it up. Patch it up a little bit. I'll pack a bag.
Yeah.
Some extra clothes. Mostly clothes. Honestly, I don't really need to worry about provisions.
No.
I bring my little rosemary. I transfer it into a sturdier pot. Still real small. I don't want it to get any ideas.
Yeah. You transfer it to a sturdier pot that you have sort of like macrame'd around to create a kind of sling where it's at the crook of your hip. It's not even a circular pot. I like to think it's like kind of a little bit convex, so it nestles there sturdy.
Yeah. It's my holster. Mm-hmm. My plant holster.
Your rosemary holster.
My rosemary holster.
You get ready for a journey. South. Looking for someone named Viv.
How many people can there be named Viv?
How many people can you be named Viv? You go south and there's VivCon where all the Vivs have gotten together.
So many people I'll have to talk to.
Yeah. And you make your journey. Or you begin to embark on your journey.
Yes, I set off.
You set off. And somewhere in the distance, you can't see them, but a god who loves mess smirks. And whether you know it or not, will be looking over your place while you're gone.
Nice. One less thing
to worry about. And I think that's what we call this one.
That is the end of the episode, but we will see you next week. Bye.
Thank you so much for listening to the episode.
Did you say go listen to the episode?
For listening to the episode.
Okay, I was like, they've already done that.
listen to it again.
Well, you know what they haven't listened to yet, probably.
The verbal component?
Yes. Is there anyone who listened to the verbal component before the episodes?
Grace used to.
Oh, that's amazing.
You can listen to the verbal component and hear even more about this episode and what we thought about it and what we were thinking while we were doing it over on our Patreon, patreon.com/unpreparedcasters. It is for anybody at the $5 tier or above.
Amazing. I love getting more content about Unprepared Casters besides what is on this main podcast feed. Where else could I find things about Unprepared Casters on the internet?
So many places, such as if you were on Instagram, you could find us. We're at Unprepared Casters over there. If you're on Twitter, we're at Unprepcasters. It's like our cute, fun nickname. Or if you're on YouTube, which you might already be to watch our beautiful faces, we're Unprepared Casters there as well.
And if I wanted to, okay, I've listened to Unprepared Casters. I've seen things online. I want it here in the physical world. I want to hold it. I want to wear it on my body. I want to stick it to my laptop.
Oh, okay. Well, it's like a little forward. But I guess if you're really feeling that way, you can go to unpreparedcasters.com/shop. We have a merch shop.
What kind of merch do we got?
Stickers, shirts and stuff, mugs also. At least one art print.
Ooh.
It's a good time over there.
It's a good time. You know where else is a good time?
Anywhere where I can behold your eyes.
Aw. Well, actually, I guess that's probably just TikTok beholding my eyes because I never post on Instagram.
Or when I'm in a room with you, feeling your warmth and joy in person.
Oh, okay. The feeling is likewise. Oh my gosh. Okay, but as much as I do love and cherish our fans, I don't think I quite want to extend that invitation. But I would be so happy.
That's so fair.
To share my warmth and radiance on social media. Most places at Amelia Som, and all of the places at links.ameliasom.com.
Beautiful. They could also find me on the internet if they really wanted, if they were really feeling that in their hearts. They could find me on TikTok at WhipJack, WHIP Jack. They could find me on Twitter at WhipJack, WHIPPED Jack, or by going to twibber.com, TWIBBUR.com. That's also me. You can also find me on YouTube. I'm Haley WhipJack over there.
I do love whenever you call out Twibber as if and if that's too difficult, if it's too difficult to remember going to Twitter and typing in whipped jack, don't worry, we've made it super simple. This entirely other URL that redirects to twitter.com/whippedjack.
But if it's more fun and flirty for you that way, that's an option.
What you should do is make an app called Twibber, get it on the App Store, and it just opens a browser of your Twitter account and doesn't let you navigate to other pages or links.
Nope. You get the one. It's all
that's all you need.
Yes.
You know who I need in life?
Who do you need?
Well, all of our patrons, but also specifically our $15 and $25 patrons.
Whoa! Like who?
Like Marigold Morgan.
And Poison Boy.
Odd Pit Pat.
Derek Rogers.
Charlie.
Sarah Lewis.
Beetle the Bard.
Ner the Guy.
Dufinius.
Alyssa Bryan.
TJ.
A concerning number of bees.
Kyle Bonyol.
Mary R.
Theodore Jam.
Grimmy.
Jacksimonium.
Esker.
Justin.
Bex Rhodes.
Petal.
Lacewing Apologist.
Silas S.
Lando Lich.
Beardick Knowledge.
Bucket Master.
L. McCochran.
DM Squared.
Luminelli.
Mitherwine.
Cole.
Feywild 42.
Celtic Lord of Mice.
Sherman Manring.
Amalia might be 3 pixies in a trench coat.
Jack Lionheart.
The Kind Hammers.
Daddy Diabetes.
Zach.
Rachel Goodman.
Tolly.
Andy Rowland.
The Emprix Mixar.
Beckles.
Stephen Odom.
Ian Strong.
Sierra.
Meta Rapina.
Annie G.
Nicole.
Brew.
Marky Boy, 15.
Andy.
Zebby Lown.
Cal Neville.
AJ Bissinger.
Aiden Sowood.
Ilya Nepomniachtchi.
Flinius.
Trace of Silver.
Mage 101.
Jordan Richardson.
Rachel Ann.
Tech Remnant.
Jesse Dubin.
Guilty.
Rebecca Lawton.
Ellen Stanfill.
Florent Fortot.
Cobra 111.
Juan Soto.
Jennifer Wild.
Tired Vi.
Fungitor.
Courtney Danielle.
Fluffy Socks.
Cam Jasicki.
Azula's Tail.
Jane.
Hollis.
Lucas Guerin.
Ryan Meese.
Valerie Ann.
Abby Greer.
Faye Nightshade.
S.J. Geesey.
Jade Crown.
Enchill.
AJ Downs.
Oliver Neville.
Orb.
Joey the Dynamo.
Dino Queen Jules.
Remix City.
Steps of the Palace.
Also Dylan.
Bridget Surdock.
Happy Little Ghost.
Martine M.H.
Gabriel the Sorcerer.
Ian Schwartz.
King Smiley.
Lady Drew.
Jenny Waboom.
Fate Grady.
Caroline.
Demon Slayer 1.
Alcyon Hero.
Aster.
Caroline Harden.
Alan Beck.
Primbono the Muso.
Yoshidas.
Leaf Caliber.
Cassidy.
Depresso Espresso.
Pete Alexander.
Andromedus Blackshire.
South Space.
Gandalf the Gay.
Mulvin Prime.
Finch.
Justin Friedberg.
Legos Jedi.
Siobhan Delilah Rose.
And David Lugman. Thank you.
Thank you.